Dilophosaurus, a night menace, built for bleeding out its opponents with its ripping bite and nimble physique. But does it really beat the small aloe allegations? Welcome to Good or Bad, and let's discuss the two-crested lizard, the weird first baboon, Dilophosaurus. Let's get right into it, shall we? Dilophosaurus was a medium-sized theropod that lived between 200 and 190 million years ago in the early Jurassic in what is now North America. It was one of the first large predator dinosaurs and the largest predator in its environment, nowadays Kayenta Formation. Discovered in 1942, first thought to be a megalosaurid, but to be fair, Megalosaurus used to be a wastebasket where every weird taxon was placed. I mean, Metriacanthosaurus and Carcharodontosaurus used to be placed as Megalosaurus, so making Megalosaurus the first Troodon. But anyway, we used to believe that it was smaller at 400 kilos in weight, but now its size is closer to 600 to 700 kilograms and 7 meters in length, making it heavier than most bears. Really puts it into perspective, huh? It was also believed that it had a weak bite force, but recently a study revising the holotype discovered that not only that its lower jaw was thicker and made for stronger struggles from its prey, but also that its crests were also way bigger than we thought. Its popularity is also quite noticeable since Jurassic Park, but it also appeared in When Dinosaurs Roamed America, which is I think the only appearance from any documentary of Dilophosaurus from what I know of. Maybe I am forgetting something, but I don't know. It also had a lot of appearances in many video games, usually shown in the same archetype that we will talk about later. Truly an amazing and fascinating dinosaur. Dilo is a weird case. Before, a couple of weeks ago, many people would say the same thing. Dilo is just pale concave. But now, I will call it just a small aloe. But that's a story for later. It is made for new players, costing just 1000 amber, being nocturnal, which isn't that beneficial in open spaces, but whatever, and also being quite fast. In terms of design, it really shows that it's a product of its time. Having a stiff animation sets, no distinction of its attacks, and yeah, it's way more noticeable when compared to its brother Concavenator. With the Spanish lizards, you can see how nimble its strut makes it. Its running makes us feel fast and agile, and its attacks are very distinct with very noticeable animations that show, if the next attack is going to be a weaker or it's going to be stronger. Its sounds are also inconsistent. Its aggro roar gives this feeling of a fearsome monster that stalks you in the night. But its broadcast is... I mean, it sounds good, but yeah. Also, speaking of Dilophosaurus sounds, did you guys know that the Jurassic Park's Dilophosaurus gurgle and whistle came literally from a baby ostrich? A little fact for you all. Its playstyle is also rather confusing. Until recently, it was one of the only solitary small-tier carnivores, if not the only one, and it relied on bleed. However, we got ourselves a problem in that design. Bleed damage in prior extinction is effective due to its stacking against large prey. I mean, why would you like to kill a giant with bleed when it dies in one or two shots? But you would like to kill a, say, Diplo with just a fraction of the hits that you will need by only using raw damage. That's why, even though Vista does a lot more damage, Alo is way better to killing a Diplodocus. So, for needing this, Bleeder dinos find themselves in these three usual archetypes. The squishy pack hunters, they use their combined HP to go for hits to stack bleed without sacrificing their own individual health in the process. Bulky, solitary tanks that use their speed or health to break through slower targets by themselves using their bleed as natural wall breakers. Or defensive oriented powerhouses that use their massive raw damage combined with their bleed to discourage or straight up kill any dino that thinks to attack them. But Dilo, being a small tier squishy solitary bleeder with very low SP, causes a weird playstyle. Basically, you can only kill small tiers or bad players that are sitting down or asleep, and then they chase you. But the moment your target just remains stationary, then they can kill you easily. And sure, at the moment it received a buff that increases its damage, and this might have made him better in viability, but I will say it only improved in its annoyance. Some would say to just pack up Lemao, but then why make it solitary in the first place? Of course, now every dino is solitary, but Dilo needs something better than being just a small aloe. And no, argument saying that a good Dilo can kill a bad, I don't know, Dascent or Diplo or whatever isn't a valid argument. By that logic, I will say that Gian is OP because it can kill Badapatos that just doesn't acknowledge their existence. The majority of the community right now stands with giving Dilo a TLC, even with its buffs, to give it better animations and abilities. I mean, they gave Concave a full rework, and it's way more versatile and has a lot of abilities. So giving something to Dilo will help it, especially in Reservoir 2.0, where it will still be in the shadow of Allosaurus. I mean, not even in scavenging is as effective as Concave or Cerato. It doesn't have infection or immunity to rotten foods effects. However, this is the Dilophosaurus that we have. Just a quote-unquote free trial of Allosaurus. Dilo is a nocturnal small game hunter, so everything smaller to it is easy game. But that goes for almost everything in the game. Look, there's nothing special in killing things that either can't or barely can defend themselves, okay? But it is what it is. You will be looking for dinos weak or neutral against bleed damage, but also things that don't do cross damage or, weirdly enough, bleed damage. Attacking things sleeping or cleaning, preferably in water, will help you a lot with stacking bleed. So, basically, carnivores. Also, careful with your turning radius, it's quite wide. So, let's talk about some matchups. Carno is solely weak to bleed, so one will think that it's easier for Dilo to kill it. But the interaction goes more in favor to Carno in both offense and defense. If the Carno is the attacker, you can't really do much in terms of defense because of it being able to 3-shot in you. So better try and outjuke it and pray that the Roblox gods bestow upon you the powerful ability of Roblox latency. And no trample damage. Yeah, trample damage is usually forgotten about this, but it affects a lot. And also, if the Carno breaks your neck or body, whatever, Yeah, you better find some place to hide or fight. And even when the Cardinal is the defender, you also have a problem because of the crazy fracture. And this will go for every single dinosaur. If they stand their ground without running or walking or doing that much, then your bleed will not be as effective. And as I said, a single fracture is more than enough to discourage you. Concave is a weird one. Dilo is resistant to infection, but infection is still very underrated for Concave. Inverting controls, blurring skin, and high stamina drain makes oof, makes small tears fear infection, especially when taking into consideration the poor turning radius compared to Conca. And that infection will really make life harder for you. Also, Concave's M1 is bleed damage. However, Dilo is no pushover, so this is quite balanced and depends on skill and whether or not it's alone in impacts or the lag. The majority of the time I will bet my money towards the Dilo, but never underestimate Concaves. Kentro, as a Stegosaurid, is better to hunt it in duos, so that it can be overwhelmed and bled out. Sure, one single hit is enough to make you question your life's choices, but if you're hit by the tail, you can sit and heal the bleed while your partner keeps the fight going. If skilled enough and having a big group, you can also kill dozens and even younger stegos. Extremely difficult, but you can still do it. So, weirdly designed, struck by age and in need of a TLC. But at the moment it's... eh, I don't know what to say. By just being extremely cheap, solitary, nocturnal, and having similar damage to Subadult Aloe makes it a nice early game dino. But for versatility, I don't know. If you want a small Aloe, you can just play Concave, or if you are one of those that have money, Arbo, believe me, it's pretty fun. I don't know. And also now that every dino is solitary, there isn't that crutch for it to say, oh yeah, I don't want to be with people, so instead of Concave, I'll play Dilo. But now you can't say that, everything is solitary. Wait, let me just... Yeah, why not this place? Yeah, screw it. It's still a technically good dino, but it's boring. There's nothing special of it. It just bleed damage. That's it. Nothing more. But yeah. What do you guys think? Was I fair to this dino? Yeah, probably not. But if not, put it in the comments below in a respectful manner. Have a good one, and ¿qué entro es el siguiente?